guys, so I just finished watching Breaking Bad season 4 episode 4, and it was another good episode. Obviously, we start this episode with an action sort of scene where I think his name is Mike, the little henchman of Gus's henchman, the assassin type guy. He is hiding in a truck and he sneaks up on these people. They shoot inside the whole truck. He doesn't die somehow, and he escapes pretty much unscathed besides his ear. A little chunk of his ear was skidded by one of the bullets. He kills those people, and then from there we're transferred to, I believe, Skylar, talking about what story Walt and her are going to tell Hank. They're deciding to come clean because they're buying this car wash. They would have to come clean to their family members because obviously they're going to be like, where did you get this money to do this from? So they're practicing a literal script. Skylar made a script and she's like, Walt, it is so important that we be careful in this. It is so important that we look at the details because our brother-in-law is a fucking DEA agent. And Walt's like, blah, blah. He's like bitching over some of the words. He's like, I would never say terribly, terribly. And then he has a moment where he pretends to be kind of sincere. He's like, I am so sorry. Like, Skylar called him out. She's like, you think you're getting the bad rep in this? Because that fucking pride, bro. That pride on Walt and on Skylar, but mostly on Walt, is lethal. He's like, why aren't we telling him that I'm paying for his physical therapy? Psh. Why do I have to look like I'm so upset and so, why do I have to emasculate myself? I literally paid our bills. And Skylar's like, bro, just fucking play along. This has to be a, coming clean sort of sob story sort of situation for us to, sell this shit to Hank. Well, it's like, right. So they have this dinner with Hank and Marie, and at this dinner, Hank's like, well, while the ladies cook, let me show you boys something. These are my minerals. And then stupid ass Walt is like, oh, that oxidizes and then blah, 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 and then chemistry, and that's why it's pink and shit. And it's like, dude, you are literally putting the fattest, target on your head. Obviously, you're a chemistry teacher, so you would know these things. But Hank, up until his accident, he was obsessed with finding fucking Heisenberg. I don't think it's safe for him to be dropping all this chemistry knowledge. So after that, Hank's like, oh, by the way, I'm helping someone out with a case. Look at this. Isn't this hilarious? And it's Gail singing. So benevolent, so nice, such a very much, just neurodivergent and just full of life and just having fun. He does a little singing fake music video sort of thing, and it tears Walt up apart on the inside. You can see. It breaks his heart to watch that. Because Gail really did not deserve to die. Gail did not deserve to die whatsoever at all. Walt's just watching this video. He's just watching his son and Hank make fun of Gail in this video. He pretty much lets Gail take the fall. Oh my God. Walter's like, I have to go to the bathroom. He's gone for 50 minutes or some shit. So obviously, he's, Hank rolls up the fucking stairs to see where he is. Walt runs out of his bedroom and he's like, oh, his Walt face. And Hank's like, dude, if you ever need to talk, I'm always here. And Walt's like, yeah, same here, buddy. And then Walt's dumbass is like, you can talk to me about, any cases or anything. I'm just open. I'm here. And Hank takes him up on that offer. He's like, here are the lab notes we found with this fucking Gail case. And so they're looking through the lab notes. And Walt's really taking it all in. This, for me, feels like foreshadowing that I don't know if this story is going to go this far, but if Walt ends up taking out Gus, he's going to create his own lab. He's going to create his own lab. Or maybe he won't even take out Gus and he's just going to create his own lab. He saw the notes. Okay, this is how to do this. This is what you need. This is how to die. He knows everything already. I feel like he's not far off for making his own fucking power lab somewhere. So that is something I definitely could see happening in the near future, or maybe not so near future, but in Walt's future, I can see him kind of making his own super lab. So yeah, Hank thinks that Gail was Heisenberg. He really does. And I like how he expressed that he wanted that moment. He wanted to be the one to put the handcuffs on Gail Heisenberg because he was the one chasing him the whole time. Very much so, like, I started this, I want to finish it. Like, very much, this is my case. And so I do feel like this is going to help light the fire under Hank's ass so he can get back out there in the force. Wheelchair, no wheelchair. On to Jesse. He's doing his self-destructive thing, right? Like, he's listening to music. He's blasting the music. He's eating pizza. He's shooting the shit. His fucking house is just wide open. There's hobos and shit. And Walt very much so is concerned. So he goes to Saul about it. And he's like, dude, Saul, Jesse's freaking me the fuck out. I already know Gus will not let Jesse get caught by the police because fingerprints were found at the scene where Gail was killed. So Walt's like, this isn't looking good. And Saul's like, well, let me know because I have a guy who can completely erase you and your family's identity and give you a brand new one. But there's no coming back from this. And Walt, knowing how prideful he is, he's like, no, absolutely not. Like, in this whole we're not running kind of sense, right? Like, I'm not, like, without my name, what good am I? You know what I'm saying? Which, if that's how he's feeling about it, I totally fucking agree. Because, like, I was born into this world, Aaliyah. I'm going to fucking leave this world, Aaliyah. I'm not changing my name, nothing like that. And yes, I am one of those hyphenated bitches. When I get married, if I get married, I don't know. If I get married, definitely hyphenated last name. I don't care. Because when you think about it, your name is your identity. You grew up with your name. You've had your name all your life. And so without that, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? And that's kind of part of the reason why I feel like Walt was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not running away from this. And so while they're reviewing the lab notes and Walt is really taking his time, taking everything in, Hank's like, it says like, to my beloved, my moon and my stars, something like that. WW. Which, cringe, Gail, what the fuck? But after that, like, it's obviously Walt. Like, for Hank to not be suspecting him at this point, he's just dumb. He is literally choosing not to see it because every last thing is just falling into his lap. So many clues, all of it is just falling into his lap. But I think it is that thing we've talked about in my previous videos where it's like, if it's a loved one, there's this like shield of blindness, right? Which is why like so many people have like serial killers in their family and they don't know until there's like a conviction. Because these people, since they're your relative, you kind of have this blindness about them. Like, yeah, they were always kind of weird, but I would never have guessed that they were doing X, Y, or Z, right? So you just choose not to see certain shit when it's your loved ones, when it's your family members. And I feel like that's definitely what's happening with Hank because the answer is right in his face, WW. And then Walt's like, oh wait, I remembered something. It's a poem by Walt Whitman or whatever the fuck. I laughed when Hank said Willy Wonka. That was fucking funny. But no, definitely Hank is gonna start putting two and two together. If not, I don't know if it'll pull me out at that point. I don't know if it'll pull me out because then they're making Hank too stupid. Anyways, that is what I think so far. I cannot wait to watch the next episode. I wonder where they're taking Mr. Fuck Up Jesse, right? Jesse is mentally like, no, there's no coming back, like, mentally for him. Not fully to, like, the young adult that he was prior to all of this shit happening. Prior to the Tuco thing, I feel like there was, like, a chance for him to, like, lead a normal life after meth. After the Tuco thing, no. And then after everything else that followed, definitely not. Like, the shit he's been through is definitely to the point where he's just too far gone. I also want to say that I have a friend named Joel. Joel, if you're watching this by some miracle or whatever, he doesn't watch any of my videos. I think you stole your personality from Walter White. Now that I'm like this deep into the series, I can definitely see that you stole your personality from Walter White. And if you didn't fucking intentionally steal it, you definitely grew up watching this show and you heavily empathize, sympathize, or saw yourself in Walt because you guys act the exact fucking same. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think you're doing that on purpose. That all being said, they're obviously not going to kill Jesse at this point, so I do wonder where they're taking him. I do wonder how this is all going to come to a head. Who knows? Maybe they do kill Jesse. I don't fucking know. Damn, maybe they do kill Jesse. That'd be crazy. But it is to the point where he's kind of asking for it. Like, I understand his, like, learned helplessness. I don't care what happens. You know, when his money was stolen, he didn't give a fuck. He's just playing video games with Belle Delphine lookalike. He's at that point, man. So, like, I don't know. I never am the type to be like, kill him, put him out of his misery. But my guy really is suffering. Anyways, I'm about to hop into the next episode, and I'll catch up with you guys at that time.